Thank you, Doctor, for sharing your thoughts on the topic team sports in universities and elite training, which is quite a relevant topic at the time we are talking on. So, moving on to our final panelist. He would discuss the topic on career transition as an university athlete and healthy lifestyle. And this would be none other than Professor Tharaka Dassanayake, a professor in neurophysiology and a consultant in neurophysiology and cognition at the Faculty of Medicine, University of Peradeniya. He obtained his Bachelor of Medicine and Surgery at the University of Peradeniya in 2002, his Masters of Philosophy in 2017, and the PhD at the University of Newcastle, Australia in 2012. Professor Dassanayake is an honorary consultant in neurophysiologist at the Teaching Hospital, Peradeniya. He is a clinical researcher at the South Asian Clinical Toxicology Research Collaboration, Faculty of Medicine, University of Peradeniya. He is a conjoint senior lecturer at the School of Psychology, University of Newcastle, Australia. He is also a visiting lecturer, Faculty of Allied Health Sciences, Faculty of Dental Sciences, and Faculty of Engineering. He was awarded the K.N. Seniviratne Memorial Award for Research in Physiology, awarded by the Physiological Society of Sri Lanka. He was awarded the Endeavour Postgraduate Award, awarded by the Department of Education, Employment and Workplace Relations of the Australian Government. He was also awarded the President's Award for Research Publication in 2008 and 2009. He is also a life member, Asia Pacific Association of Medical Toxicology, Kandy Society of Medicine Sri Lanka, and Kandy Region Sports Medicine Association, an executive committee member and life member of the Physiological Society of Sri Lanka. Well, ladies and gentlemen, to enlighten us with his thought process on career transition as a university athlete and the healthy lifestyle, let me present to you Professor Tharaka Dassanayake.
Kind introduction and distinguished guests, fellow staff members from the universities and athletes. Um, First of all, let me thank the University of Peradeniya and SLUSA for giving me this opportunity to speak in front of you. I'll be my brief. This will be a very short presentation. So I'll be talking on career transition as a university athlete and healthy lifestyle. So now, my background is primarily I have been an athlete or a badminton player as a school student and a university student, and then subsequently now my career is pretty much full time. I'm an academic university professor who's teaching and doing research, and then seeing patients. So all the sports is now are into my extracurricular domain, so to speak. Right now, first, if you look at our roles in sports, this gathering. Now, many of us are competitive athletes, at least in the past, right? And then some of us are trainers or sports instructors and sports administrators and academics, pretty much teaching and doing research in sports. So all of us, each one of us, play a small role in each of these four areas when it comes to our sports-related involvement, right? And when your career transits from being a university student to whatever the career that you take up in the university sector or in the private sector, these roles evolve or change along the way. I would use this, for example, our case example is N equals 1. That's myself, perhaps. So this shows a what you call a radar graph that shows these four domains, right? One domain is athletes. For example, you can score your involvement as an athlete from say 0 to 10, and then as a trainer on the other axis, and the administrator on the other way, and then the academic the other way. So if you look at your involvement as a school student or a university student, you can plot these involvements like this. For example, in my case, I was performing at national level and then afterwards university level and the provincial level in badminton. So in 1990s, My involvement as an athlete was out of these four domains. It was quite rigorous. So training, yes, we have been training, for example, beginners, students in the fellow students in our game, and then we have been involved in administration for a while. For example, in sports councils and so on. So I think this will be the case in your involvement as well. So as a medical students, we have been doing some research work and academic learning on sports sciences, sports physiology, for example. So you have a little bit of an academic in you. Right? This is when you are in your, for example, in your late teens and early 20s, let's say. Then you transform into let's say a junior lecturer or a junior professional. So you obviously your athletic as a sportsman your involvement drops. In my case, well, I have been playing say club tournaments, and I was in Australia. I have been playing for the that province and region and all that. So, but it is less than that of a real young athlete career. And you train more. I have been working as a university coach for about 8 years. So you sometimes you might involve in more training. And sports administration is to work in sports advisory boards and so on. So your involvement is high. And academic also, you might do some research in sports sciences, and you might do you teach undergraduates in sports physiology and so on. So involvement, now you can see your role changes depending on your circumstances and your stage of your career. Now in 2010s, as a professor and a senior lecturer in early 2010s, it's different. Now your academic involvement is more. For example, now this has now sports science has become a sort of, as I said earlier, it's an extracurricular activity for in my case because I'm a neurophysiologist, I'm a neuroscientist to start with and a clinician working in hospitals. So still you have some academic involvement working with, for example, allied health sciences students and so on. So even if you take up a career in other area, it would be like that. Obviously, again, as you grow older, obviously your engagement as an athlete, the number of hours that you spend on training will drop, obviously, but you maintain a certain degree of training just to keep fit or just to enjoy the game. And you do some training. For example, when you go to the gym and go and play, you do some training, and then there are certain formal ad hoc events where you train people, and then your administrative work might increase a little bit because your involvement in sports administration will increase. So it will go like this. So the shape of your involvement changes with time as you evolve in your career. So if you are very lucky, and if you are a sports administrator, if you have a full time career in sports, you are more athletic, and you get chance to train people, and you do high level administration, and you might be able to, because if you are a physical education instructor or a senior lecturer or in that area, you'll be engaged much more in this area. So this is the kind of ideal situation that which I see many people are like that here, right? Few people like that. Okay. Now, so the basic idea is this: like whatever you do, your career might transit into an entirely different area, but idea is to live with the sport till you grow old. I think that is the real deal here. Um, so, what happens when you change career? Now, how you make sense of a career? I would like to borrow this concept, Japanese concept called ikigai. Right now, there are four domains here. If you can see this, it's not a Venn diagram as such, but it's as university students, you should be able to interpret this sort of graphs. Right, it's easier than passing a getting a degree. Right. So, if you say now, one domain is what you are good at. So, I'm sure that you are good at your sport. Right. That's why you are here, and you love that. True, right? So when you are good at something and you love it, and that is called passion. If you look at this common area, that is your passion. And then if it helps the world, in your case, if it helps the institution, and if it helps the country, as many previous speakers did, so that adds another dimension to it, right? So if you love it, and if it helps the world, right, that becomes your mission, right? And the fourth domain is what you get paid at, which is pretty much important when it comes to when you go in the evening to your family, right? So what you're paid at, that is important. So if you get paid, and if it serves the country, that is a vocation. We call it vocational training. And if you are good at it, and if you get paid, for example, you are a doctor and you are paid for it, so that is your profession. We call it a profession. Or professional sports, when you are good at playing sports and you get paid, you have full-time sporting career. So if you are very lucky, and if you grab the opportunities, and if you fulfill all these four domains, that is what they call ikigai, or the reason for being. So if you evolve in the field of sports, this is what you are going to end up if you are a professional sportsman. The thing is now, all these are not only applicable for sports. If you change, even if you transit your career into a different field, for example, these four domains still apply to you. So to develop, to be good at something in sports, let's say, or to love something and to help the world, or help your institution, or help the world through it, and to earn money, all these domains can be transferred directly from sports to your career. So you develop some generic transferable skills from what you do in sports as undergraduate to your career. For example, so looking at this diagram, you might say, where am I now? Right? So in my case, in terms of sports, I am here. I think I'm pretty good at it. I love it. And I do some service for institution through different, not much though, but anyway, so I am here, but I don't get paid for it. So I have a full-time, some other job. So likewise, you will be having, you can plot yourself somewhere here, right? So Mr. Manavadu is moving towards this direction, I say. He's moving into Ikigai state, I should say, because one day he'll get paid as a doctor in sports sciences, and he loves it, obviously. He's good, very good at it, and then obviously services are needed. So this is the kind of gold standard achievement if you can get it. So all of us need to perhaps view, where will I be as a graduate when I in this sort of this four domain matrix. Now, for health effects, it will be very boring for me if I give a list of health benefits of exercise. I think Professor Leanthony Silva talked about hypokinetic diseases and this of, and then how this helps. Obviously, now I would say all these benefits of sports, health benefits, are it's good for somebody to start get into sports. But I would say now, tell me, like there are about 40 of you. How many of you have started as school kids sports because to get health benefits out of them? I don't think none, right? You don't even know what health benefits of sports are. You just do it for the hell of it. You just get into the business and just do it, and along the way you find that it is useful. Right? That is how it happens. Right? So the core concept in sports is, I think, play. You play and enjoy them. So then it diversifies into competition, diversifies into health benefits, whatever it is. So I think what we need to remember to be, if you want to maintain lifelong health benefits through sports, is to get into the field or the court and play. So this play is in the psychological. This is at the very core of this. So if you look at the sports psychology, I have been teaching sports psychology for students in an MSc course. So that is called the intrinsic motivation. You do something for the sake of doing it. You enjoy it. You don't obviously there will be other benefits, but you don't do sports as an investment, so to speak. If I convey my message, right? It's for the sake of doing it. Obviously, it's an investment in many fields, obviously. And then the other thing is have role models. So draw inspiration from many people. When you are young, you might young and energetic. You draw inspiration from people who are young, energetic, and who are champions in the field. Like you cannot be on something if you are a long short distance runner, based on this series of achievements. And then when you grow old, like come to middle age, like myself, or you tend to draw inspiration. Now you know that you can no longer behave like a young person. You are not that vigorous, so you tend to draw inspiration from older people who come to a gym and who play the game. You see that if this person can do this at 65 years, why can't I do at 45 years? So one gold standard example is this Fauja Singh, who had been doing the marathon at the age of 100 years or something. He's now 109. So this sort of people, when you grow old, you tend to draw inspiration from older people. So that is that is the standards, and you grow old and you try to stay somewhere there. Right? And the final thing is, I think the stay healthy is the now, since you have entered sports and now you are engaged in sports as young men and women, I think the main idea is to keep that kind of sporty guy. The word I use the word guy to denote both men and women. Increasingly, it is being used as a unisex term, so to speak. So keep that sporty guy inside you, so that you have that kind of that psychological sort of core in you, and you always it drives you to do seek sports, seek play, and seek sports related exercise related things. So I think those are the messages that I wanted to give you in my presentation. Perhaps you might go into specifics in the panel discussion, technical points, whatnot. So thank you very much.